everybody. Welcome to another episode of Storytime with Becky. Today we're going to be talking about the parable of the leaven. What is a parable? A parable is a story told by Jesus himself in order to show us a message. He told these stories specifically to convey a message when he was speaking to a lot of people to show them how to act as good Christians. A lot of people were asking, how do we get to go to heaven? How are we able to be good people? Tell us what we need to do in order to be true sons and daughters of God. And Jesus would tell them stories like this one. So Jesus said, once upon a time there was a woman who was baking a meal for 3 days. That means she wanted a lot of dough to be prepared for 3 days worth of a meal. So she brought a lot of dough, but what needs to be added to the dough in order for the dough to rise and become bread? It's a special little thing called leaven. Leaven is another word for yeast. And you don't need to use much, but it still needs to be used in order for the bread to rise and to be fluffy and to taste good and for it to be round. For the bread to be the kind of bread that we love to eat today, it needs leaven, or yeast is another word that we use today for it. So Jesus said that this woman prepared lots of dough, but she only used a little bit of leaven for this whole big batch of dough. She put the whole batch of dough with the leaven and she mixed it all up and it spread out evenly. So when she put it in the oven, it rised and it grew and it was light and fluffy and puffy and it was delicious. So Jesus said, what can we learn from this story? Jesus emphasized that good girls and boys act just like the leaven or the yeast. You don't need much yeast in order to make the bread rise and to be great bread. And similarly, there doesn't need to be a lot of good boys and girls in order to be good influences to a large group of people, whether it's to your family or to your friends. You don't need a team of people to influence others. It just takes one person. One good person with a pure heart, pure intentions, love in their heart, and they can affect a crowd of people. Just like only a pinch of yeast was used for all of this dough to make it rise and to be fluffy, delicious bread. Jesus expressed to all of the people that we need to try as much as we can to be just like this yeast, because he wants us to help others get to heaven. And how does he use us? By acting as good boys and girls, as true Christians, to have love in our hearts, to help people, to act kind, to be good influences to the other people around us. And let's remember that we don't need a team to do this. It literally just takes one. The more people we surround ourselves with that need our help, the more people we can help, the more people we can bring closer to God. So let's also remember that the more friends and family and people we surround ourselves with, the more people that we have the potential of bringing to God. And God loves when we help and do that. Thank you for watching another episode of Storytime with Becky. I'll see you next time.